everyone, and welcome to the Luminary Library. I am your host, Alicia, and then my co-host, Ben. I just
folks.
pointed the wrong way.
It's
There's Ben. We do it every time, and it will never change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're back with all the latest and greatest in Lorcana news. There's been so many card spoilers for set 2. I feel like we've got like probably a quarter of the set at this point.
It feels like it.
Yeah, and then like a little bit of like less than a month left. So I mean, there's still plenty of cards to come out if they choose to reveal more. Along with that, we've gotten some more information on the restocks happening for set 1, which is super exciting. It means getting product into more people's hands, more people allowed to play. That's what we want to see. The future of competitive events, which again, love to see because I love me a good tournament.
Yes, really excited for that.
Yes. And then we got a couple of viewer questions. So all of that and more happened in this episode, but I think let's just dive in and start talking with the new cards because
yes, we've got so many of them to get through. Oh my gosh.
There's so many to get through.
Like I don't know if we're going to go through every card of the set like as it comes out, but just at least to start here, there are so many highlights of weird and interesting things that we really need to talk about.
Absolutely. And it's really fun to kind of start to see, like, obviously there is a meta right now, but to see how some of these cards are going to come in and like either change that meta or enhance it, because like Steel Song or whatever might not be as good, but like Steel Sapphire, like the cards that have come out for that are going to help that. So yeah, I'm excited to see.
Yeah. So we'll get to some of the specifics in a minute, but let's start off with one of these, the Arthur's Wizard's Apprentice, as a
so
the art on this is phenomenal. Like this is the first art I've seen where I'm like, I want that costume. Like that, I think that's really good.
Oh, that would be sweet.
So this is a 3 lore 1/3, the quest for 1. With the ability Student, whenever this character quests, you may return another chosen character of yours to your hand to gain 2 lore. So one of the things we'll see this more. There's going to be a point where we're going to just be going through like 10 cards that all look almost the same. There's a sub theme of returning your characters back to your hand and getting some benefit when you do. So that's going to be something that Amethyst just does a lot of in this set. I don't know if Arthur's going to be a part of it, but
yeah.
Oh, is Emerald doing it too?
Like Emerald was already doing it a little bit in set 1.
Yeah, that was for your opponent's stuff mainly. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, and so now this is kind of the opposite, and it has some really fun playing off of like the Merlin cards. But we'll get there.
Yeah,
I like this mechanic. It's fun to bounce stuff back to your hand and make other like reactions happen, and kind of see how do you trigger what first to get the best outcome. So it gets a lot of thinking, which I like.
Yeah. You get a good one because the next one we've got here, oh my gosh.
So this is a 6-cost Beast Emerald with the tag Relentless. He is a 4 attack, 5 strength, or 5 defense, and his ability is Second Wind. Whenever an opposing character is damaged, you may ready this character, and he quests for 2 lore. So the one card in set 1 that this kind of reminds me of is the Ariel, the Sapphire, where whenever you play an item, you can ready the character. So that doesn't have the type or the tag text, I should say, where you can't quest again. So that's like this card. But everything else, normally when you ready them, you cannot quest. So This is a extremely powerful card, especially when it's just whenever an opposing character is damaged. Think about how often you do that in just a turn, and especially if you're playing in a deck where they're playing Rockstar Stitch and they're getting out a bunch of different characters and they're flooding the board with just these 2s and 3s, strength characters. And then you've got this guy out and you're able to flood your board, and then you just attack in all of them, and this guy is just over here questing. I mean, you could get like maybe 6 lore in a single turn. That's huge.
Yeah, I can see some realities where this just if you manage to ready up with it, it will just take over the game instantaneously. Because there are so many damage effects. Like the thing that comes to mind is there's a Robin Hood that's coming out in the set in Emerald that has just exert deal 1 damage to chosen character. Trigger ready up your beast again. Like, I don't care that you don't have anything for me to attack. I'm still going to ping your stuff. We've got from set 1, we've got the Plasma Blaster that also deals 1 damage repeatedly as an item. There's all sorts of steel stuff that does it. There's all sorts of like challenging does it. The neat one to me is that if you exert your beast and your opponent doesn't have, like, would have to use 2 creatures to try and defeat your beast, they can't do that, because as soon as they challenge with the first one, beast will ready back up and is now ineligible to be challenged. So they can't 2-shot him. They have to 1-shot him.
Right.
Like it's self-defensive. It's ridiculous.
It's such a good card. It will be harder to get because this is like a legendary. I mean, you will be chasing this one. But it's worth the chase, I think.
I agree.
And also, this is inkable. Not that you should be using it as ink, but it is inkable.
It's on top of everything else.
You need in a card. Yeah.
Gosh, can you imagine having 2 of these out and just going ham with them? Like, you just close the game out instantly off that. My goodness.
I was gonna say you'd like win by like turn 5 probably.
I'm very glad this costs 6 though and not 5, because being able to get this out on turn 3 with the one that lets you cheat one into play early in Amber, I could see that getting really ridiculous really quickly.
And obviously this isn't shiftable, which I think would be a mistake if it was, because like you said, you don't want this out early. This is for a specific time in the game, so. Yeah,
and I'm really glad that we have enough time to get Dragonfire online before this comes out, because this would be very obscene otherwise.
Oh, for sure. All right,
so next up, we've got Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. A song in Emerald, costs 3, uninkable. Return chosen character of yours to your hand to play another character with the same cost or less for free. So here we are with that bounce sub theme again, and I am looking forward to seeing people try and make this work, but I don't think it's going to be the greatest. Maybe I'm wrong, and there ends up being an Emerald Amethyst bounce deck. And this ends up being just kind of ridiculous because you have the character sing it, you return the character that sung back to your hand, you put something back in. One rules question that I'm looking for with this card, though, is it says return chosen character of yours to hand to play another character with the same cost or less for free. When you say another character, what do you mean? Do you mean that it has to be a different card? Like, if I have 2 copies of the card, one in my hand and one in play, can I return the one in play back to my hand and play the other one? Or does it have to be a really different named thing?
Yeah.
Or if I only have the 1 copy, can I return it and just replay it? And just essentially have it be a flicker effect?
So there is obviously an FAQ on cards in the Lorcana app, so when set 2 goes live and this is officially out, it'll be interesting to see what the FAQ says about that, because that's a really good question. Then I don't think anyone online has raised that yet.
Every now and then Judge Brain turns on and I'm just like, hang on.
Excuse me, sir.
Alright, so next up,
that's a good one.
We've got Bounce!
Bounce! We've been talking about bounce actions, now here it is, and it's so cute. It's with our pal Tigger and Rue in the 100 Acre Wood. So it's Emerald, 2 cost, uninkable, it's an action. Return chosen character of yours to your hand to return another chosen character to their player's hand. So basically what this is saying is you can play this action, you'll bounce something back to your hand, but in return it'll bounce an opponent's card back to their hand. So you could use this on something really small, if you have just a simple 2 cost out, but it helps you get, maybe their beast back to their hand, so you don't have to deal with that this turn. Or you could be bouncing back any of the cards that have the bounce back effects, as we'll see later on. Merlin has a bunch of effects that when something leaves play, you get a bunch of advantages, so maybe this works in conjunction with those.
Yeah. And I'll also point out that it doesn't say on there that it has to be an opponent's character for the second choice. It's just another character to that player's hand. So you could bounce two of your own things if you wanted to.
Right, that's true.
I don't know how often you'll want to do that, but you could.
You could. I mean, maybe you get a good bonus out of it, so who knows?
I mean, at a minimum, there's always the, if I bounce it back to hand, I get to remove all the damage.
This is a true point.
That's not nothing.
It's not. Good point. I didn't think about that.
Next up, we have Bucky, the Squirrel Squeak Tutor. I love this art. It's so good.
So good.
So this is a 2-cost inkable 1/1. Quests for 1. Has ward, so your opponents can't target this other than challenging. And Squeak. Whenever you play a Floodborn character, each opponent chooses and discards a card. So this is the first time that we're seeing something care about character type. So, or I guess the super character type of like Floodborn, Storyborn, or Dreamborn. But I don't know how I feel about this. I don't like the fact that it costs 2. Like I feel like this, in my head, this should be an uninkable 1 that removes the ward. Like, so that I can get this out on turn 1 and then just start spitting out some stuff. Like I'd rather do that and have the ability for my opponent to interact with it more than have to wait a turn and then start discarding on 3, because that's nowhere near as good.
Yeah, I could see this being okay in draft, but I don't know how much we'll see it in normal play.
Yeah. That being said, if there's a deck based around like 1-drop Floodborn, this could be kind of ridiculous because your turn 3 could be playing 3 Floodborns, triggering this 3 times. Your opponent discards pretty much their entire hand at that point, and they're top decking while you've got a full board.
That's fair.
Like this could be nasty.
Just waiting for a whole new world, and that's not gonna be cheap to play. So
yeah.
Okay.
And then they hardcast whole new world, and then I draw a bunch of Floodborn and play them all back and make them discard everything they drew, and
all of the Bucky deck.
Yeah. This is one of those cards that's either going to be everywhere or nowhere, and nothing in the middle.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the fact that he's inkable, so if you do want to try playing with him, you can find out if you use him or not. So
yeah,
it's always a good way to track that. And also, Emperor's New Groove just always makes me happy. Bucky's adorable, so happy to see he made it.
I always love seeing the lesser known characters just show up randomly.
Yes. Yep. All right, let's go to the next.
Yep, this is you.
So this is a 2-cost inkable steel Cinderella with the name Knight in Training, and she is a 2/2. She is Dreamborn, Hero, Princess, Knight, so she is like everything. She's every label that you want. She's it. She quests for 1 lore, and then her abilities have courage. When you play this character, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. So basically, I think there's a similar card that's already in set 1. But not steel, so basically just lets you help figure out if you need a card, but then obviously you have to choose, but hopefully you're in a case where you draw what you needed. I think that's fine for a simple 2/2, and like I said, she's inkable, so
yeah,
she's a good support card to have in your deck. You're obviously not building anything around her, but just a nice little helper for early game.
Yeah, 2-cost 2/2 with card selection. It's going to see a lot of play in draft. I don't think it's going to see much play elsewhere, but nothing wrong with it.
Nope. Every label that you need. If you're looking for a hero,
that's
a princess, or a knight, she's got it.
Yeah, if you're playing like any sort of typal deck, you're gonna want this.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is the older Cogsworth. Cogsworth Grandfather Clock. It's a 5-cost inkable sapphire card. It's a 2/5 that quests for 2. has shift 3, so you can shift this onto another Cogsworth, maybe coming next, and ward and unwind. Your other characters gain resist +1. There we go. There's our first resist card. Damage dealt to them is reduced by 1. So this is like damage reduction for the D&D players. This is... I don't know about this card specifically, but I will say about resist as a whole. Absolutely phenomenal, I think. It is... I think that resist might make the beast that we were gushing about not as good. Just because it's going to be so much harder to deal damage to anything.
Right. Yeah, they're definitely, I think maybe they saw that in set 1 and they were just like, a lot of things are dying very easily, so now we're just going to start adding resist and make things stay around a little bit longer, which is going to help maybe prolong the game, or just create more interesting board states than just you playing smash or fire the cannons. Now you're adding resist, so even if you do fire the cannons, if you're trying to kill a bunch of 2/2s, they're not gonna die anymore, because now you're... I mean, if you have this guy out, because he's resisting for 1, so it's definitely gonna add a little wrinkle to that plan.
Big Tink just got massively nerfed. Grab your swords. Yes. It took a big hit as well. This alone doesn't completely stop Grab Your Swords, but it just does so much work. And there are other ways to give resist to things that don't naturally have it. We'll run into a few in a minute, but it's... Back to this card specifically, I think it's going to be... I think it's going to be there. I don't think it's going to be like the Cogsworth deck, or everybody's complaining about Cogsworth like they're complaining about Big Tink. But I think it's going to be there, and I think it's going to see some play, and it's going to cause some problems for some people who are trying to play sweepers.
That's fair.
Which is going to inherently make aggressive decks better, because now they can't get swept because the cards that would sweep them aren't getting played because resist exists. So layers on layers of metagame.
And look how cute he's a gray and grandfather clock.
That is really well done. It's like, how do you put gray hair on a clock? They figured it out. And so this is a not a legendary, a super rare. Yeah, so this will be a little bit of a difficult one to get. But he's cute, and I like him. How about the other Cogsworth, though? The one that presumably is the one you want to shift from.
I was going to say, this is like baby Cogsworth, and that's Grandpa Cogsworth.
Yeah.
So this will be your shift target. So this will be the first one that you play. So he is a 2-cost inkable Cogsworth talking clock. He is a 2/3, and he quests for 1. And his ability is, wait a minute, when your characters with reckless gain 1 lore if they tap.
So you've got a way to use your reckless characters that doesn't involve going to combat.
And there aren't that many reckless characters, are there? So there's the Maui, and there's Gaston.
That's all I've
seen.
Are those
just the only 2? Okay.
If there are more, I have not seen them played.
Right, yeah, that's fair. So those are 2 Ruby cards, so that's interesting.
I mean, Ruby Sapphire is a deck I've seen people theorizing as being good in the new set, so maybe it's there.
Maybe it's there.
Ramp into some big old dragons. This will be
definitely your shift target.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. If Cogsworth is seeing a lot of play, this is going to see a lot of play too, just to be able to play this on 2, big Cogsworth on 3, and just defend the board from that point. Like, unless your opponent's got direct removal, they're just going to have a bad time dealing with these things.
Yeah. You know, at this point, I feel like with every deck, you basically need to be running direct removal, which is so hard. It's like, are you just running Ruby then? Like
every deck has Ruby. Might be just the thing going forward, at least for a little while.
I love Ruby, so I'm cool with it.
It's good.
It is good. It's so fun. All right,
next up is Daisy Duck Secret Agent.
This is our first Daisy, by the way. We have had Mickey, Goofy, Donald, like, we've had them all, Minnie, but this is our Fab 5 that was missing. We had the Fab 4, and now we've got the Fab 5. No, okay.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right, we're close.
Not
We're
Fat
close.
Five.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Yeah.
So this is a Emerald 4 cost. It's inkable. It's a 2/3 that quests for 2. That has Thwart. Whenever this character quests, each opponent chooses and discards a card. Okay. So we've got green kind of solidifying itself as the discard cards here.
Yeah.
Like we'd already seen that a couple times, but it's now making it very clear that green is the discard color.
Yeah. They're going to be the thorn in your side that are just going to kind of be there to poke at you and make you lose cards and kind of just annoy you throughout your entire game. Which I personally love to play. I love to do that. I love Emerald so much, and this card just makes me love it more.
Yeah. One thing I will say, just from my Magic experience, is that discard is very swingy. Because if you get it early, it's wonderful. But late in the game, when your opponent is just top decking, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
That being said, from what I've seen with Lorcana, there's a lot... Like, most of the good decks have a lot of card draw. So this might be more relevant in Lorcana than it is in Magic. It's a lot harder to draw a lot of cards in Magic. It's a lot easier here. Discard might be... Like, discard as a main theme of your deck might be more viable here than it is elsewhere.
Fair. This would be good against an Amethyst deck. Amethyst got a lot of that.
That and Steel, a whole new world. It's cool. Yeah. Let's go for it. I will now make you throw half of that out.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
But speaking of Steel, we've got a Steel Donald.
So we had a Daisy, now we've got a Donald. So this is a 5-cost Steel Donald Duck Deep Sea Diver. I love that it's Dreamborn. Like, is this what Donald's dream is to be a diver? And then he is a 6 attack, 5 defense, and he quests for 1 lore. So overall, he's a vanilla card. He's just a very strong vanilla card with some really cute art. And I also love that you can see the Minnie in the background. So we know that they're in, like, the same place as far as, like, lore goes. So I can't wait to kind of find out what this, like, diving stuff is about.
Yeah.
Because this is not what I was expecting from Donald.
The genuine question, is this the flood that they're swimming in? From Floodborn?
I don't know. Like the Great Flood? Oh,
yeah.
Maybe.
Like, that... I hope... I'm sure we've got more, like, plot coming later that'll make some of this make sense. But, like, I feel like this has to be part of that. Like, that... in my head right now, it's the only thing that makes sense.
So, the little quote, just to see.
Yeah.
It says, "You go ahead, Minnie. I'm going to see if there's any lore over here." So maybe this is the Floodborn flood, and he's searching for lore. I don't know. I enjoy the idea, though.
I want to know what's going on. Tell me what's going on.
I'm sure. So, like, right when set 1 dropped, they released, like, that really cute little, like, 2-minute video. So I'm sure they're gonna have to do something like that for set 2. So fingers crossed that we get more soon.
Please, the small novels. I love the small web fiction stuff. Like, give us more of that. Like that. Okay. Magic does that for like every set, where there's like 10 different short fiction things, and they're of varying quality. But like, I'd love to see just like a short story for each set of just like, this is what's happening.
I would love that. That would be really smart. And also, we know that they have like incredible artists on their team. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up,
we have an item. We have the Fang Crossbow. It's a Sapphire 3-cost item that has two different abilities. The first, Careful Aim. If you exert this and pay 2, chosen character gets -2 attack this turn. But also Stay Back, which is exert and banish the item to banish chosen dragon character. Well, that's... Stop killing dragons, man. I like them.
Bye, Maleficent.
Yeah, I like that. Is that it? Is that all that this hits right now? Oh, Raya.
At the moment, yeah. And then I'm sure Sisu will be a dragon, considering canonically she is a dragon.
Right.
But I don't believe the card for Sisu has come out yet, so...
I'm sure we'll get one. There's no way they put this in here without that, but...
Exactly.
So the bottom half is very conditional, might be relevant depending on what's going on. The top seems a little expensive. Like, when we've got resist going on, resist is just better than this. Like, why should I reduce your character by 2 this turn when I could just prevent 2 of the damage from everything forever?
Not to mention there's like a Sleeping Beauty card that does this on its own when it comes into play, so that seems a little bit more effective than this item. I don't really think this item will be seeing a lot of play, especially because there aren't that many. Like, maybe if we were running rampant with dragons, but we don't really have that problem, so...
I will say this is an inkable card, which means, like, Lorcana doesn't have the concept of a sideboard, but you can essentially run sideboard cards in the main as long as they've got that inkable symbol in them, because you can just throw them out as ink. This might be something that people throw 1 or 2 of in a deck just to hedge against their opponent having a big old Maleficent that you don't want to deal with. And you just be like, oh, well, I never inked this, so remove your 9-drop for 3? Seems good.
Yeah, in that case, then it's a win, right? That is a net win, so...
I mean, I think you're still down 2 cards because the Maleficent got rid of something when it came in. But still, the ink efficiency on that is pretty great.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if this one gets used or not. I haven't really seen a lot of items get used really yet in set 1. Eye of Fates obviously is huge. Lantern is huge.
Ursula's Cauldron.
Ursula's Cauldron.
I'm so sick of Ursula's Cauldron.
Yeah. Talk about slowing down the game, by the way.
Yes! Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
It's like, the first time I ran into this at a competitive event, it's like, I am not mad at you. I am mad at that card for making every one of your turns take an extra 30 seconds. I am sick of it. You are playing quickly, you are making decisions promptly, but I am so sick of that card.
It's that card. It's the card. And it's like so prevalent in the meta right now. It's so annoying. So I guess we'll see if this one gets used. I'm betting no, maybe we're wrong. Maybe we come back in the middle of set 2 and we're like, hey. Yeah,
this would surprise me to see.
Yeah. Alright.
Next up.
Simple little 1-cost inkable Flynn Rider. He's a competent vagabond for 1/3, and he just quests for 1. I just love that we get to see more Flynn Rider, and we can see on the back that there's more photos of like him and like different, the nose shapes, like in the story. So I'm assuming that means that we're going to be getting more Flynn Riders. Yeah. Even the clothes, I love a good fan club, but they could at least try to get the nose right. So I'm
glad they kept the nose joke.
Yeah. I just want to see a bunch of different Flynns with different noses. That would be amazing.
Flynn's nose .deck. Gosh.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but he's just a little vanilla. But 1/3 is always a useful stat, turn 1, so.
Yeah. Next up we have 4 dozen eggs. Please let there be a 5 dozen eggs also in this set. Please. So this is a 4-cost, of course, song, sure, in Sapphire. So your characters gain resist 2 until the start of your next turn. So critically until the start of your next turn. So they have it through your opponent's turn as well. And if you're multiplayer, through all of your opponent's turns. So that's going to be a good protection, I think.
Yeah.
I could see.
That's all this card is.
Yeah, I could also see this being very disgusting with Beast. Like, let's play this. Beast attacks into your opponent's board. They take damage. You ready your Beast. Attack again. Presumably taking very little to no damage every time, and just churn through their board.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is that I want to do something really stupid with this in Lilo, because she's only a 1, and turn her into like a 1 with like the resist 2, so that way she just doesn't die instantly, and you can use your quest just like one more time and get the 2. That's instantly
that's
where
fair.
my mind went.
Like this is really good in like tiny character spam, where you can just be like, cool, Everybody gets resist 2. You have to spend a lot more resources to deal with my board. Quest for 6, pass.
Right. Yeah. Rush deck.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. See, look at that. We're figuring out the meta all on our own.
Yeah, tell me we're figuring out the meta when we've called this all right. Like, we'll come back to this in a couple months and be like, yeah, we got it.
Yeah, or oh wow, did we miss that?
Yeah.
It's either one or the other. There is no middle ground here.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
He chunk.
I remember when this dropped and the all of our chat with our coworkers was just like the green alien, like, ooh, the claw. So this is a 9-cost inkable Goofy. He's steel with the name Night for a Day. He is a 10/10. Quest for 4. He is the biggest boy in the game so far. We haven't seen a 10 yet, and so he's huge. He's giant. He's a rare, so I mean, you're probably gonna get a few of these if you open up a box.
Yep.
So there stands to reason that you could have 4 of these in your deck if you felt the need to. He's just so big. I don't know what else to say except I can't do 10 damage. Like,
right.
You're gonna lose so many of your characters to kill this guy. Dragonfire and Maleficent are your only 2 options. Unless you're bouncing it, maybe.
I mean, that might be really frustrating. If the bounce deck does take off, you just bounce this, and you've essentially given yourself an entire extra turn while your opponent just replays this and passes. I
was going to say, how annoyed would you be to spend 9 ink, play this, and it gets bounced? Yeah, that's a waste of a turn right there.
Yeah, that's the downside when you've got this much bounce running around. So that is
something to be mindful of when you're playing. If you're playing in the colors that, like your opponent's playing those colors, like, keep that in your mind that what you're playing could not live to the next turn. And you could just come back to your hand. So
far that's what Ruby can deal with this in 1 with direct removal. There's bounce in Emerald. Does Amethyst have opponent bounce or just self bounce?
What does the bounce card do?
What
did it say again? We just had it.
Well, that's an Emerald.
Oh, that's Emerald. I was thinking of I'm Stuck, because that's Winnie the Pooh. That's what it was.
We'll jump ahead a bit. Chosen exerted character can't ready. That's not gonna bounce them, unfortunately.
No.
But so it's probably just Emerald and Ruby that you have to worry about with this.
Yeah.
I guess
Sapphire.
Sapphire has Let It Go. That'll also deal with this in 1. Mm-hmm. And great, now you have 10 ink.
Yeah, for real.
That's like half the colors can just deal with this.
Yeah. At least they're making it so that it's not just like you play it and there's no response. Like, chances are, if 3 inks, you're probably playing with one of those inks, if not 2 of them, to be able to deal with this. So. Yeah.
But if your opponent is running like Amber Amethyst, like they're not going to be able to deal with this. They're probably going to outrace you, and you're probably not going to get to 9. But if you get to 9 against them, this will just close the game out in 4 turns.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like you're gonna do the damage against it. That's not a race you're gonna win by any means.
If they decide to take that route against you, you've already won because you just board wiped them.
Exactly. Oh, 10 damage is just so much. But you know what? Good for Goofy.
Yeah.
Good for Goofy, man.
No, card's great. I love it.
Yeah. It's really fun.
Next up is mine, right?
Yes.
All right, so we have the Grand Duke, advisor to the king, amber card. It's a 2-cost 2/2. It's inkable. Quests for 1 and has Yes, Your Majesty. Your prince, princess, king, and queen characters get +1 attack. Okay.
I like seeing. So normally we've just seen princess characters, get like
Yep.
addition bonuses.
Yep.
So seeing the prince, the king, and the queen get those is really nice. Amber has a lot to do with princesses, with like Moana, obviously.
Mhm.
So I think this fits right in with the color and what it's trying to do. Yeah, I like it. It's cute. For 2, I don't think this is a bad card by any means. So
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to see too much competitive play. I guess it depends a bit on whether or not the Typal deck exists for royalty.
yeah.
But if it does, this for sure, I could see it. Especially because having multiples of these out would stack properly, and you could get some very good arms on some princesses.
Heck yeah. Strong princesses. I'm all about it. Feminism. Let's go.
Like, I'm thinking about this more, and I'm like, most of the princesses that we've seen so far, at least, have, like, 1 attack, but a ton of defense.
Yeah.
And so this kind of turns them
Moana.
into something that can actually go out there and punch some stuff and take the hit.
Yeah. Moana is a 1/6, and I believe that Rapunzel's a 1/5. So they have, obviously, the defense. They just don't have the attack. So
Yeah.
But normally you're running, like, support cards with them. So now you're getting support from that, and then if you're getting this, all of a sudden now they can pack a punch and take a hit. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Now, what I want to see is the other side of this, where your Prince, Princess, King, and Queen characters get +1 defense.
That would be cool.
So we can just start building up, like, these, like, buffs and cards that just make everything huge.
Considering I want these decks to work, like, so badly, I want to see those cards. Yeah. So.
Ooh. Now, having said that out loud, I don't know if we're going to see that. Because if you increase a character's defense, they can take more hits before they get banished. But if you then remove the source of the buff, like if, say, like Moana had 6 damage but had been buffed up to have 7 defense, but then that card that was buffing Moana goes away, Moana would then also immediately get banished as well. And you could have these situations where, like, cascading banishing could happen.
Yeah, so I guess you won't be seeing that, because that would be
a little complex
situation.
Yeah. I don't think it'll never... I don't think it will never happen. But I don't think it's going to happen, like, soon. I think that's a rule complexity we want to hold off on.
Yeah, for the rule set that we have so far, which isn't even the entire complete rule set document.
Where are the rules, Ravensburger? Where are the rules?
We can't play certain cards or have certain cards in the game until we have the full rule set. So I guess maybe we'll see that then. That's just going to be my response for everything we haven't seen yet. Maybe it's in the full rules.
Yep.
I just don't. I want to get rid of these stupid quick start rules. Just give
me
the game.
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's go next.
Next up. Ooh.
This is a 3-cost inkable emerald action titled Hypnotize. Each opponent chooses and discards a card. Draw a card. I think this would be really great in draft or if you're playing a 4-person game. Personally.
Ooh, yeah. No, that would be really good in a 4-player.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of this card name having that card text. I feel like Hypnotize should be gain control of target character or chosen character and opponent controls. You can quest with them as if they were not wet or whatever.
You are totally right.
Like
right.
That's a temporary gain control kind of a thing. Like,
yeah, it even says "Look me in the eye when I'm speaking to you." Come on, we could have designed this card better. The art's great.
Art is terrific. Effect is perfectly fine. I just think that this text should be on a different piece of cardboard.
Yep, I agree. I wouldn't have thought about that, but you're totally right.
Next up is Improvise, another action in Emerald. This one only a 1-cost, inkable. Chosen character gets +1 attack this turn, draw a card. Ooh. We have a cantrip, ladies and gentlemen. You can for one cost draw a card. All right. So
Emerald doesn't have a ton of card draw.
Yeah.
So this is nice to see for them.
I also think we've seen a couple cards here and there that care about actions played. This kind of a thing where it's a cheap effect that draws a card could be going into some sort of like storming situation where you just play a lot of actions, draw a lot of cards, and get a lot of side effects from having done it.
What I like about this too is the fact that it is one cost. So you could theoretically play like a 3-cost character and then still play this in your turn. This obviously isn't a turn 1 play because that's reserved for, playing a character.
You got no character to choose, yeah.
Yeah, this is a nice little additional thing, so.
That's actual rules question. Can you play an action without choosing the character? Like, if you have no character to choose? Can you do this and then just do as much as you can?
It doesn't say and. The way I've always taken it is that if it says and or, this is just 2 separate statements. Right, and so I'm going to just do as much as I can when I played it, and I can't choose a character to gain the 1, so I'll just play this to draw. Draw the card.
That's... Yep. Don't cite us as a source of ruling on this, but, like, that's...
We are seasoned card vets, and that's how I would read this.
That's how I would read this for Lorcana. For Magic, no way in heck. Like, you don't have a target you can't cast.
Interesting.
But Lorcana, who knows? If only we had a rules document.
Yeah. Release the rules. I just want to make like a chanting.
Hashtag release the rules. There we go.
Hashtag release the rules. It's our new campaign.
There we go.
I love that.
Well, right. we're stuck on this rules releasing bit, so let's go over this.
So this is like one of my favorite cards coming out in this set. Like anything Winnie the Pooh you put in front of me, and I'm just like, oh, it's my favorite.
It's very cute.
So this is a 1-cost inkable amethyst. I'm stuck with Winnie the Pooh being stuck in his little house, or I think that's rabbits actually.
I think so. Yeah.
And the ability, The ability is choose exerted character can't ready at the start of their next turn. Chosen exerted character can't start at the next turn.
That's pretty good for one.
Yeah.
Like I could see that causing some headaches. It does cost you a card. It doesn't draw a replacement for itself. I don't know if it's necessarily going to see play, but it's not the worst.
Yeah. So the big Elsa, she makes you exert, and then you can't ready. So obviously this is skipping that part where the character already has to be exerted. But like that Elsa card is super annoying, the fact that you can't start at your next turn or you can't ready. So I mean, this is getting the annoying part of that, ability. And for one, that's huge, and it's inkable. So if you draw it at the wrong time, it's not like it's you could just ink it. So.
Yeah. Not the worst we've seen.
No.
Lady Tremaine. Been a while since we've seen a Ruby card. Lady Tremaine, Overbearing Matriarch. It's a uninkable 2-cost 2/2. Quests for 1 and has not for you. When you play this character, each opponent with more lore than you loses 1 lore. Okay. So if your opponent's ahead, they lose 1. Okay, that's fair. Kind of
not
for 2, I guess. Yeah. Now we were talking earlier about self-bounce being a thing in this set. I could see this potentially seeing play in a self-bounce deck, where if you're as a way to recover if your opponent starts getting ahead on you, you just bounce this and replay it a couple of times to bring them back down.
That's a pretty good idea.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really fair point that I hadn't really thought of. I was just thinking this probably isn't a turn 2 card, so I was questioning why it was 2, but that would make sense as to the cost then. Because then you're playing the card where it allows you to bounce it back to your hand, and then playing this on top of it. So you're still using a ton of ink. You're just using it on actions and playing this card. So Yeah, if they're at 16 or something and you're at 9, it's a good way
Start
to
clawing your way
closing the
back.
gap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I've seen people come back. I had like 19 and they had like 2 and they won. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it is easy to come, or it's not easy. You can come back. It's not easy to. This would help that, though.
If they're not at 20, the game's not over yet. That's how it works.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And you can claw your way back using Lady Tremaine and...
Yeah. Make your last stand.
Yeah, Last Stand. This is a 2-cost uninkable amber card titled Last Stand, which is an action. Banish chosen character who was challenged this turn.
Yay!
That's huge. That's
I like this.
Huge. It's, like we said, 2-cost uninkable. On this, though, you could be using it as soon as turn 2, I would say. Although it probably would be better to be saved later in the game when those really big characters are starting to do challenges. Maybe like your beast that we were talking about that's super annoying.
Yeah.
If he's doing any challenging. But this card is giant, and I feel like this is going to be seeing a lot of play.
Yeah. Remember what I said earlier about the cards that could deal with things in one card? Add this to the list. Yep. I can see a reality potentially where your opponent turn 2 Cogsworths, the small one. You play on your turn 2. I like Grammatala. Like, I'm just being super greedy with the scenario. They shift their Cogsworth and then quest with it, thinking, oh, what are you gonna do? Well, you swing your Grammatala into that Cogsworth and then Last Stand, get rid of the whole stack. Like,
goodbye.
You thought you were going to power things out on turn 3. How about you don't?
Yeah, exactly.
Like this puts shift in check.
It does.
Which
shift could get out of control. Shift could get really out of control with the big Aladdin and the big Tink. So this kind of starts to help fix that a little bit, because once those were in play, it's kind of really hard to stop them. You're having to do some form of really big removal, either a lot of challenging and losing your characters, or wasting a Dragonfire, or just wiping the board. I've had to do Be Prepareds just to get them off of the board and lose my own people at the expense. So this will help fix that a little bit. And like I said, 2-cost, like, this is a very good card.
This also puts resist in check. Because this doesn't say that was damaged in a challenge this turn. Just was challenged.
Just chosen. So, yep.
I don't care if you blocked all my damage. I still went at you.
Exactly. You could know, like, hey, maybe, like you said, lose the 1/1 Tala. At the end of the day, it benefits you anyway. It just gets them to use the condition that they were challenged, and I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Good card.
Yeah. Next up is Li Shang. Ooh, boy. Oh, the art. I had a few different communities be like, "Oh, good, Lorcana finally has its first husbando card."
He is very buff and very fearless.
that is a very strong, good-looking, muscular man on that card. So that is a 5-cost, 3/6 Li Shang Archery Instructor in steel. Inkable 5-cost. Has Archery Lesson. So whenever this character quests, your characters gain evasive this turn. And now, critically, because I misread this, that's you have evasive on your turn, which means you can challenge the other evasive characters. This is not a defensive maneuver. This is purely offensive. This seems a little circumstantial, but it's also inkable. So if you're up against the Ruby Emerald evasive deck, you play this out, and if you're up against Rush, you ink it.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? Because, like, the Ruby Emerald evasive deck is a thing. It might not be top meta, but it is a used deck.
Yeah.
And Steel and Sapphire don't have ways to deal with it outside, like, of using the big tank and the fire of the cannons and smashing all of that. So this finally gives you a character that you can play that has the evasive.
Yep.
It's probably needed.
All right, so now we finally get to start going through the absolute madhouse that is the Wizard's Duel.
Oh gosh, here we
So,
go.
starting off with
Madam
Mim in fox form.
Okay, so this is a 3-cost inkable Madam Mim in fox form. She's got the hair on the fox in the art. She is a 4/3, and her ability is chasing the rabbit. When you play this character, banish her or return another chosen character of yours to your hand. She quests for 1 lore, and she also has rush. So I think the big thing to point out about all of these cards, the Madam Mims and then the Merlins as well, they have synergies. So you have to really pay attention to your text and see which one is doing which, and that you're not doing things out of order. So for this one in specific, when you play her, you're banishing her or returning another chosen character of yours to your hand. So you could banish this card specifically, or return another chosen card.
Yeah. So if you do somehow, for some reason, play this into an empty board, your only choice is banishing it. So don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. But
my Magic player brain is telling me that that's super dangerous because your opponent could just remove your other character in response. I'm like, no, that's not a thing here. So you've got a little bit more safety here, but
with the or return another chosen character of yours to your hand means that you could use another of the Madam Mims that might have an ability that when they get removed, they give you a positive effect. So
well, that's mainly the Merlins that do that. So we've been going alphabetical, but I'm going to actually ping pong a little bit here because this one specifically references chasing the rabbit, and we have Merlin in rabbit form, which is a 4-cost. Yes. 4-cost 2/3 has Hoppity Hip. When you play this character and when he leaves play, you may draw a card. So it draws on the way in and draws on the way out. Flavor text, it was turning out to be a bad hair day.
Look at his little glasses on his nose. Oh my god.
It's so good.
Cute. It's so good.
But the card itself is also really good. Like, this is... 4-cost 2/3 that draws you 2 cards. Like, okay, sure. Especially if you get into that bounce game.
Yeah, it doesn't bother you when you lose this character at that point because you know you're still going to get something good out of it. So
yeah. Back over to Mim.
Okay, so now this is our snake version of Madam Mim. She is a 2-cost inkable, 3/3, quest for 1 lore. When you play this character, banish her or return another chosen character of yours to your hand. So, again, this is the same ability, I believe, as the other one. She just doesn't have rush. Yeah, so you're either, if you're playing her, you're either banishing this card specifically or you're returning another one back to your hand.
Yep. And then we've got another Merlin, now in crab form, 3-cost 3/3. When you play this character, when he leaves play, chosen character gains Challenger +3. They get 3 extra attack while challenging. Could be kind of disgusting if you manage to play this and bounce it in the same turn. Just suddenly whop something for 7.
Yep. You play him, you Madam Mim, bounce it back. All of a sudden,
Madam Mim with rush.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so that would be. Gosh, that's 10. You could beat Goofy with that.
You could. That would be crazy. But yeah, so the Madam Mims and the Merlins, man, the synergy there, it's pretty gross, and I love it.
But wait, there's
Amethyst already. But wait, there's more. Amethyst already had so many interesting options too for decks that it's interesting that they were the ones that got these mechanics. Yeah. Because I feel like Amethyst is just so strong, and it already was, and now it's just stronger.
I agree, but I also think we're going to see more coming for the other colors, probably as we get more cards spoiled.
We probably got a lot of Amethyst, and now we need to balance it out with other colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next up, more Mim. Oh, we were talking about dragons earlier.
Yeah. She is a dragon.
Yeah.
So now we've got the 7-cost inkable Madam Mim, purple dragon. She is a 5/7 quest for 4 lore, so she is huge. She is evasive. And her ability is I win. When you play this character, banish her or return 2 another two chosen characters of yours to your hand. So you play her, you bounce back
Bounce
some
two.
Merlins, get some cards, get some challenging effects. I mean, and then you quest for 4 lore, and she's got 5 attack and the 7 defense. It's gonna take a lot to take her out, and she's evasive, so only specific cards are challenging her.
Yeah.
Oh, this card's huge! It's a legendary, so it is going to be difficult to get, but like it is going to be very worth it and probably used if you get it.
Yeah. I am looking forward to Dragon Fight, though, when somebody plays the Ruby Maleficent Dragon to banish Madam Mim.
Or you play this and Ruby together, and like those are like your big characters. That would be kind of fun.
Oh my gosh, just Dragon deck already. I'm on board.
Dragon deck. Yep.
Alright, so we got a couple more Merlins. We have Goat Form Merlin. Goat. So we've got 4-cost, 4/3, quest for 1, has Here I Come. Whenever you play this character and winning leaves, play gain a lore. Okay. Like actual lore payoff for doing it. Yeah.
Yep. And it's not like you're gonna get anything if you quest with him that you wouldn't be getting when he comes into play or when he leaves play, because he's just questing for 1 lore. So
yeah. But you could play him, gain a lore, untap, quest, bounce him back, play him again, net 3 lore off the whole exchange. Like,
dang.
It could turn into a machine. I could see it working.
Yeah.
And your opponent doesn't have the opportunity to respond because it's never like tapped on their turn, because you're always replaying it untapped.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing they can do about that because there's nothing to cancel actions. So, oh, that's so good.
And then if I had a nickel for every squirrel in this set, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it's happened twice now.
But look at his classes.
It's so good.
His little nut. Merlin Squirrel would be friends with Bucky. I'm calling it right now. So this is the Merlin Squirrel form. He is 2-cost inkable. He is a 2/1, and he has the ability Look Before You Leap. When you play this character and when he leaves play, look at the top card of your deck. Put it either on the top or on the bottom of your deck, and he quests for 1 lore.
Will help smooth you out, help you find those mims to get the bounce on Merlin.
Yep. This is like a smaller ability, right? This isn't getting you the lore, and it's not getting you the challenger. This is just kind of like an easy one to play at the start. But nothing bad about deck cycling, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we have officially exited the Wizard's Duel.
Oh,
it took a while.
But it was so fun.
But now, we get to move over to Minnie, who was in the background of that download art earlier. The Minnie Mouse Wide-Eyed Diver in Ruby for 4-cost inkable 2/3, quest for 1. So we got all the numbers on that card. Shift 2. So you can shift this on another Minnie? Like, do we have many other? I mean, we don't have any cheap minis. Okay, so we do have a 1-drop mini that you could play on turn 1 and shift this on 2. So we've got Evasive, and whenever you play a second action in a turn, this character gets 2 extra lore this turn. I don't know if you want to work for that hard.
I don't know how, like, when you play a second action in a turn, I don't think I've ever played 2 actions in a turn at all. Ever.
I mean, we were talking earlier about the cantrips, like, that we've got a decent number of cheap things that draw replacements. Like, this might be part of that. Maybe.
It's not a set 1 thing, that's for sure.
This feels like stop making fetch a thing. Like, it's not a thing. Like, this... maybe we'll see this get set up later. Like, we're working towards eventually having a deck where you can, like, storm off with multiple actions in a turn, and we're just not there yet. But I don't think we're here yet.
No. And I agree, and if I'm going to play a 4-cost Ruby for an evasive, I'm going to play Pongo, because that, to me, is the better option. So
it really is.
Yeah.
But next up is another
Can't
mini.
win them all.
Yeah, fair.
This is a 2-cost vanilla Minnie Mouse. She's zipping around. She's a 3/2 quest for 1 lore. 0 to fun in under 3 seconds. It's cute. Again, it's just a vanilla card. If you need a 2-drop, here's one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Simple, easy.
Mouse Armor is a 2-cost item in Steel. Makes sense. That has protection. You can exert this. Chosen character gains resist +1 until the start of your next turn. So applies during your opponent's turn. That's a very cheap way to put resist on something. This might be very useful. We'll have to see how much putting resist 1 on one character is actually worth. But being able to do it repeatedly for free after you've paid for it the first time at least, like, it's got a shot.
Yeah. And 2 cost really isn't that much, so if you do want to try it, it's a cheap way at least. So
Turn 1
it's
Lilo,
like
turn 2
you.
protection on Lilo. Quest pass. That's not unreasonable.
So
I like
good.
that line.
Yeah, exactly. It's just use all of the resist for Lilo. Get your 2 lore.
Next up.
Okay. This is a 4-cost Amber Mulan. She's reflecting. And she is a 3/3. She shifts for 2. And then her ability is Honor to the Ancestors. Whenever this character quests, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a song card, you may play it for free. Otherwise, put it on the top of your deck. And she quests for 2.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh. Ursula's Cauldron got better. Oh.
Slow down that gameplay.
I don't know how I feel about this. That's kind of great.
I don't value, so I don't sing a lot, and maybe that's my own detriment. I normally just like use my characters as like either challenging or questing, so I'm not singing a lot. Do you sing a lot? How do you
Somewhat.
find use out of this?
Okay. So, like, I will often sing "Friends on the Other Side," just so that I can then play what I drew.
Sure.
Same with Whole New World. Like, especially like being able to use all of your ink to immediately play everything you just got before your opponent has a chance to play anything is just so strong.
Okay. Okay, that makes
But
sense.
this, like, you don't even have to take time off to sing, man. Like, you're questing,
Right.
like, you're gaining 2 lore, and then you're getting a song for free on top of that.
That's true.
I hope at some point in time that we get something that's like a brainstorm type effect, or it's like draw some cards and then put cards from your hand back on top of your library. So that you can like set up things where it's like, cool, draw 3, put these 2 back like this,
Stacking your deck.
quest, flip this, oh hey look, it's a song,
Right.
and just get this to fire off every time.
Right. Okay.
I could see
Do
this
we
being
have a
real
low
fun.
cost? Do we have a low cost Mulan? So she shifts for 2. I know
Not
there's
yet.
a big Mulan.
Not yet.
Okay.
We have
So
2
that's
other
coming.
Mulans.
Yeah, and they're both large.
Yep.
One is big.
One's 4, one's 5, and they're both in Ruby. So, all right. Next up, we've got another Mulan. This is the other one I was talking about a second ago. The 4-cost 4/3 with Rush, quest for 1. Feels like Rafiki, but a little more expensive for a little bit extra arm. Like, okay,
Yeah.
isn't
She's a
inkable.
princess, so I mean, if you're
Is a princess
making-
that could matter.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're working on a princess deck, not a bad option. And I don't believe any princesses have Rush yet, so this is your first one.
Yeah. Next up,
This is a 3-cost uninkable Panic. He's an underworld imp, and he is a 2/3 who quests for 2. And his ability is I Can Handle It. When you play this character, chosen character gets +2 attack this turn. If the chosen character is named Pain, he gets +4 instead. So obviously some synergy between Pan and Panic from Hercules.
Makes sense.
Hades, little imp helper henchman. Also like my favorite part of the Hercules movie. So when I saw these cards, well, this card, I was super excited. And I can't wait to see what Panic or Pain does when he comes out, because he's not out yet. And I just want to know what he does with Panic.
Yeah. We've got a couple Pinocchios. This is Pinocchio Talkative Puppet. It's a uninkable 2-cost 1/1. All right, you got a lot of work to do here. Telling lies? No, papa. When you play this character, you may exert chosen opposing character. Okay. I think it got there. And this is in the self-bounce colors.
Exactly.
This could be kind of good.
Especially for a 2-cost.
Yeah, I'm not completely sold, but I'm not out. This could work.
Could work.
But what about the other Pinocchio?
So this is a 2-cost uninkable Pinocchio Star Attraction. He is a 1/1 who quests for 3 lore. So you thought that your Lilo that quested for 2 was good? We have raised the bar quite literally by another lore, and he has 3. And this is a rare card, so it stands to reason that you could be collecting a few of these. Gotta kill it instantly, but I mean, you're gonna get it off once at one point.
Yep.
So.
And Facilier says, I don't care, and Self Bounce says, that's fine, I'll just quest bounce, put it back.
Yeah.
This is a little terrifying.
I love this. I would just love to play an army of these in Lilos and just be that annoying, like, rush deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
my style right now.
It's cards like these that make Grab Your Swords good even in a resist meta.
Yes. Yeah. It is worth noting that if you take them out, you are leaving yourself vulnerable to getting rushed really quickly.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah. Next.
Prince Charming, Heir to the Throne. Is a 4-cost inkable 3/3 in Sapphire. Quest for 3, no other text. Well, I guess we get a little bit of insight, I guess, into the Dreamborn's stuff. He'd search across the Inklands. Inklands, that's a new thing. He'd searched across the Inklands for the young woman who'd stolen his heart at the ball, only to find more mysteries. Okay.
He's holding a shard from the slipper, it looks like, in his hand, so...
Is that what that is? Let me zoom in on that.
I'm not sure, but I kind of assumed it had something to do with Cindy's shoe. Or maybe it's like
it looks like the Ravensburger logo. Like it looks like that the corner.
Oh my gosh. If you're watching this and you know what it is, let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
Give us your theories, yeah.
Yes. What is Prince Charming holding?
Love it.
Oh. And then from one prince to another.
Next. Yeah. This is a 3-cost uninkable emerald, Prince John, greediest of all. He has a 1/2 with ward. He quests for 2 lore, and his ability is I Sentence You. Whenever your opponent discards 1 or more cards, you may draw a card for each card discarded.
Oh, man. So discard got good.
Card draw.
Discard got good. All right.
Mill deck.
Wait, hold on. How does it... Oh, no. The interaction between this and Whole New World.
Oh, my gosh. Could you
you both discard, you draw back up to 7, and then you draw whatever they discarded out of their original hand, too. Oh, no. And you don't have a hand limit.
That's so gross, and I love it.
So many cards. Holy cow.
Yeah. And then you basically are just like, you have the answer for everything in your hand at that point. That's what, 14 cards? You can't tell me that you don't have something there that works.
Emerald Steel discard is going to be a deck. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
So Queen of Hearts is a 2-cost Emerald. Queen of Hearts Quick Tempered. Doesn't have Rush. Quick Tempered? Come on. It's a 1/2 that has Royal Rage. That's a very good pun. I like that, though. You've recovered. When you play this character, deal 1 damage chosen damaged opposing character, which will untap your beast.
Yes.
We've got more ping.
Yeah.
Emerald, amethyst, bounce, beast. Bounce this, play it back, untap the beast, quest again, go round and round. Maybe.
Gross. That's
Someone's
the
gonna
deck
make it
that I
happen in
wanna
draft.
build. Yeah. You can build your discard deck. I'm gonna build this one and we'll see who wins.
Nice.
Yeah. This is Rapunzel, Gifted Artist. She is Amber. She is 5 cost inkable. She is a 0/6. She shifts for 3. And her ability is Let Your Power Shine. Whenever you remove 1 or more damage from one of your characters, you may draw a card, and she quests for 2. So 0/6 is pretty similar to her other ability, or other, I think Gifted with Healing is the name of it.
Yeah, it's a
where
1/5
like
gifted with healing.
1/5. Yeah. But yeah, so shift for 3, so you could shift her on top of that if you wanted to. Or maybe there's a big Rapunzel that we don't know about. Yeah. When you remove 1 or more damage from one of your characters, you may draw a card. So it's pretty similar to the other one as well.
Combos with the other one.
Yeah.
And the coconuts.
And the coconuts. Who can forget the coconut basket?
All right,
Yeah,
next up. Ooh, oh.
I like the art on it, and I'm
It is good
excited
art.
that this is it's gonna be the pin for Amber, so I'm excited
Oh,
about
nice.
that. Yeah. So it's got that going for it. I don't know how I feel about the card overall. I guess we'll have to see how it works in conjunction with the other ones.
Yeah. See, it very much depends for me on how much healing is going to be a thing. Like, is there a healing deck? I know we've got Rapunzel Gifted with Healing already kind of taking over a bit of the meta, at least at my store. Just because, like, remove 3 damage, draw 3 cards is so darn good.
Very good.
But I don't know how good no way to heal, but draw 1 extra card whenever you do is actually going to pay off.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering. Also, her being a 0, I feel like the Cheshire, who's the 0, is more effective than this card, particularly. But again, we'll have to see it in play to kind of know.
All right, next up we have a new Robin Hood, capable fighter. It's a 2-cost uninkable 1/3 in steel. Quests for 1 and has skirmish. Can exert to deal 1 damage to chosen character. There it is, another pinger. More ways to untap your beast.
Yeah. Gosh.
Like, I keep saying it, but like that's gonna get built. Like day
great.
1, that's gonna be a deck.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I feel like if you're gonna need to know how to deal with that.
Yeah. Outside of a Dragonfire, or be prepared, because it's gonna happen, and you're gonna lose like 10 lore in a turn or something because he's gonna get out of control if you don't know how to stop it. So
yeah. I also just kind of enjoy the art on this. Like like I don't know what it is, but like this gives me, like, the background gives me vibes from that recent Robin Hood reboot that was like super gritty and dark and grayscale, and then you've just got like Fox Robin Hood in green in the front, just looking good.
Yeah, he gives me like anime vibes, kind of, with like Batman background, and I'm here for it. All right. Next up,
we've got another Scar, finally not on fire.
Yeah, still Ruby though, so that hasn't changed. He is a 7-cost uninkable Scar, vicious cheater. Yes, he is. He's a mean character. He is a 6/5 who quests for 2. He has Rush, and his ability is Daddy isn't here to save you. On your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may ready this character. He can't quest for the rest of this turn. So
see, they remembered to write it on him.
Yeah, they didn't add it for Beast. Maybe that will get errated. Who knows? But this is
it's just legendary. A
typo. It's just a typo. Could you imagine?
Could you imagine this without it though? Like, holy cow! Give Scar some protection, and then just eat the entire other board. Oh my gosh.
Especially with 6 damage, he's killing most things in the
Mm-hmm.
game, so yeah.
But not Goofy.
But not Goofy. No one's killing Goofy. And this is a legendary, so again, another pretty difficult to get card, but well worth it, and you could build a deck around this guy for sure. This
Yeah,
and
I think you
Maleficent
could.
together, powerhouses.
Yeah. I don't think this is gonna be like taking over the meta, but it is.
No, no.
I wouldn't be shocked to see it a few copies in some good decks, to be sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll be right there alongside them, helping out, so.
Yeah.
And also, Daddy isn't here to save you. Love that.
Gosh,
Thank you,
that's
Ravensburger.
is that the
Great.
longest effect name we've had so far?
Probably, and it's completely worth it.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Next up is the Prince. Never gives up, I should say. Is a steel 3-cost inkable 1/3. Quests for 2 and has bodyguard and resist. That's a really nice combination.
This is a very good card for 3-cost inkable
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
this feels very good in the amethyst steel like rush, but with bodyguard deck that I've got built right now.
Oh,
This would slot right in.
so you would add him to your deck? Is this a
immediately? Yeah. Like this is. It's at 3, but like there are so many very expensive bodyguards in that deck currently. Like I feel like you could get rid of maybe a Magnus or 2 and slot this in instead.
Sure.
Like it doesn't have as much health, but it effectively has so much health because unless they're one-shotting this with a 4 attack character, like this is gonna stick around for about as long as Magnus would.
Yeah. I'd say this is as good as Simba. I mean, as long as it's the 3, you know, like your simple 2/2 isn't gonna get rid of it, so.
Yeah. And the bodyguard Simba, yeah, that's a 2/3 for 2. So yeah, so it gets down 1 turn quicker, but doesn't have the resist to help it out.
Exactly.
And doesn't quest for 2. Like that's also relevant. Like if you keep the prince around and you quest for 2 and put him back in defense mode, like this is pretty solid.
Yes, absolutely.
For an uncommon, this is
nice.
nice.
He can bodyguard my Lilo any day of the week.
All right, and I think that's it. I think we've run out of cards that we've gotten spoiled at least.
Did it.
Holy cow! An hour and 25 minutes later. I don't know how long it's been for you folks who are listening, but it's been an hour and a half for us. So
it's been a long time. And then, of course, any other cards that have been spoiled, we also went through in our other video.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something in here that you're missing that you wanted our analysis on, it's probably in the other video. And then, of course, we're not going over anything that's been translated in other languages because we fully believe in using the English translation cards. That way we know for sure what the text is going to be and that no shenanigans happy with Google Translate, because you could take a French card and you can put it in Google Translate, but you don't know for sure what it's going to be in English. So we're trusting the Ravensburger English cards, and that's just our stance on it.
Yeah, and to be clear, we don't speak French. Like that's the critical problem here. Like I can't look at that card, read it, and know what it means. So I'll hold off until we have an official translation before giving an opinion. That's all. This is not like, oh, English is the superior language. No.
Oh no.
I have no horse in that race. I just know one language and that's it. That's all. Sorry.
We're not cool. We're not bilingual. Alright, so we finally made it through all the cards. So let's get to our discussion, which is the restock information for set 1. We've gotten a ton of information about this that came out, I would say, within the past week or so. I do want to say, starting at this blanket disclaimer, if you're visiting the World of Disney at Disney Springs, or if you're visiting Pin Traders at Downtown Disney in Disneyland, it is worth checking those shops if you're in town. They have been getting restocks periodically. We try to post about it on WDWNT, on our Instagram and our Twitter, on WDWNT Play, on the Illuminary Library accounts. We try to blast it on social media when we see it. We don't always see it because We're not always at Downtown Disney or Disney Springs, but it is worth checking because it does seem they went for a really long time without getting restocks, but it's kind of happening more periodically now. And it's normally just the starter decks, but I think they've also had some gift sets. So just blanket disclaimer: if you're there, it's worth checking. Maybe you'll be able to get some product. I hope that you will.
Have we seen the troves anywhere? Like,
not
at all?
Since like retail. I don't
think.
Like a retail got them like initially, and that's been it.
Yeah, because I've been trying to find them anywhere, and no one seems to have them. So, okay.
I have seen people at my shops use them. I do not know where they got them, but I've seen them in like an existence.
They exist. Okay.
I never got one. They exist. Yeah, because they use the box as like a card holder, which I thought was
that's a good choice.
Idea. Yeah, makes sense, and then you don't have to invest in other product to hold your cards. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. So, on X, Twitter.
I can't believe it's not Twitter.
I can't believe it's not Twitter. The Disney Lorcana account shared a specific post, tweet, whatever you want to call it.
Big long thread.
That said, yes, big long thread, and we're gonna go through it. So it reads, Disney Lorcana TCG fans, we have some exciting updates to share. First of all, the October booster pack restock will begin to roll out at local game stores in North America starting next week. We are recording this on October 27th. This was released on October 25th, so that means that it'll be the start of November.
First week in November, yeah.
First week in November, yeah. And then along with that, they wrote, the reprint of the first chapter boosters and starters is moved up and will begin shipping mid-November in North America. We hope this reprint quantity will make the game more readily available. Our goal is for fans to have no difficulty finding product to get started. So what do you think about this? Obviously we're happy that product is getting into the hands of more people, because that means more people enjoying the game.
And less people scalping the game.
Too late? Yeah, well, that too. How do you think this whole thing with the reprint has gone overall?
So it's been a bit of a mess. We were originally told there was going to be a small resupply wave in October that for some stores manifested a little bit, and some it just never showed up at all.
Oh, really? Some stores got stuff?
A couple in my area got a little bit more, but just barely.
I didn't know that.
Now, maybe it was just like our distributor found an extra pallet in the back. Like, they just misplaced it and found it. It's like, oh, well, here you go. Like, that may not have been a resupply wave, but I know there was a slight uptick in what a couple of stores had.
Interesting.
But on the one hand, I want to say that this is very late, and I would have really appreciated it sooner. But on the other, I understand that you can't just wave a magic wand and make cards exist. Especially when you're a new game. Like, you're trying your best, folks. Like, I can only be so upset when you're actively trying and you're communicating to the community that you're actively trying, and you've done nothing but move your dates forward for everything. Because we originally told that the big restock was going to be in Q1 of 24. And then they walked it back to the holiday season. And now they've walked it back to mid-November. Like, it's getting closer, not farther. Like, that's...
I can imagine...
Good.
They've probably spent a lot of money on printers. Like, I can't imagine that this was a cheap effort.
I'm sure.
But it, like you said, it shows that they're listening and that they fully believe that the stock will go, and I'm sure it will go the second that it comes back in. So it's not like people aren't bored of the game already. People are still trying to get their hands on it just to play. So
yeah, I'll be there. I've said since day one that I want a play set of every card for this game. Like, I just I want to have that, not just to like put it in a corner, but like to be able to actively play like any deck, and to just build things and try them and things like that. I've never been involved in a trading card game from day one like this. I've played Magic for years. I've played some digital card games, but that's not the same. Like, I love the idea of like having a complete set of a game, and I want to get there.
For the first,
But I also did not want to get there while the stock was this bad. Like, my completionist collector desires can wait until everybody's got, like, some cards. I'm not over here hoarding. Yeah. I'm not actively, like, participating in the eBay resellers or anything like that. I will wait for MSRP. I will go to Barnes & Noble and get my 2 packs every now and then when they have them in stock, and will not game that system, and I'll wait. It's fine.
Yeah. I like to point out that we're Disney collectors, and we try to follow the rules.
Yes!
We're not resellers here.
Yes!
Yeah.
I do not walk out with 25 popcorn buckets. No!
No! I was heartbroken when I went to Carthay Circle and they didn't have the tree, and it was because of the resellers, and I wanted to cry. It was a whole thing. Anyway, back to cards.
Yeah.
There is one thing about the reprint, though, that they noted that there will be no marks for the reprints. However, certain cards will have errata fixes, but otherwise no distinguishing mark. That does affect collectors. If people are looking for the very first set and they want the very first of the print of the card that came out, then, you know, they might be a little upset that they can't find, you know, that. Yeah. I personally like my cards having the errata fixes because I like knowing what my cards do.
Yes.
But, yeah.
But all of the trading card websites are now going to have to put up second edition versions, and there's going to be people who get sent first editions for second and vice versa, and people opening up cases with TCG Player being like, "Hey, they sent me the wrong card." Do we know what the errata is? Like, is that in the app at this point, or do we not know? Okay.
I don't think they've released a list yet.
Can you maybe give us the errata for your cards, please?
Because I would like to know what I'm playing, if it's errata or not.
If I don't have rules, maybe you can at least give me cards that are accurate, please. Hashtag release the rules.
Hashtag release the rules and and give us the errata list. Yeah, we haven't seen anything yet because I feel like that's something that we would have a pulse on, but
yeah. So they did confirm that Shepherd52 asked, will there be a noticeable difference between the first print run and second print run? And Lorcana replied, no mark for reprint. Certain cards will have errata fixes, but otherwise no distinguishing mark. And we don't know what those are yet.
No, they haven't released a list, and looking through the app, there's nothing been noted yet, so
yeah.
I'm assuming we'll get a list by the time the reprint is out, if there is any. I just want to know what my cards do.
Yeah.
I don't like playing with uncertainty.
Yes.
Release the rules, release the errata. Release the rules, release the errata. It's just our new chant.
Oh my gosh. Just imagining like a remake of a scene from Newsies at this point.
The next like event that Ravensburger's at that we're just gonna be those two nerds in the corner with like little signs. Release the rules.
Where is the rule book? We need the damn rule book.
That's all I want. I feel like we're not asking for a lot, honestly. Cards and rules. What more? That's it. I'm not even asking for specific properties. I'll take what I get. Yeah.
Alright,
so
anyway.
That's the reprint. We also, in the same thread, we got news about competitive events, which is super exciting. So they said, next we want to announce that starting Q2 2024, we will have both official fan events and an official competitive circuit. Fan events will be a way for Disney fans to come together to share their love of Disney Lorcana, even if they have not necessarily played the game. Competitive events will be the premier place for Disney Lorcana TCG players to prove themselves. You can also expect exclusives for each of these type of events, and we will share more details in January of 2024. We will have tournament guidelines and other policies live on the official Disney Lorcana site, where we will provide regular updates as we align globally and take in feedback from our players to make competitive play the best experience we can.
By making a rule book!
By making a rule book. So if people are wondering, hey, I'm going to my local store and I'm playing in a tournament, or I've played in any of the 1Ks, or I've played on like the Disney Lorcana HQ tournaments. Those are not official Lorcana tournaments by any means. Those are what we would be considered fan events, basically. Just so that you have that clarification if you've been wondering. So what they're talking about in the series of tweets is an official event held by Lorcana. I hope that this is something that we see at Disney. They have said that they're going to be at PAX next year.
Nice.
So maybe it's a thing that they could be holding at PAX. I would love to see what this includes and what this means.
So, a little inside baseball here. I know that Ravensburger and Lorcana has a relationship with Pastime Games, which is the tournament organizer for all of the Magic Fests, the big Magic the Gathering events, because they've like that. I found out that I could work the Gen Con thing and get this sweet shirt by being on their email list from having judged Magic with them. So
sure, makes sense.
Like that they've already worked with them once to get folks. So I suspect they'd be willing to do that again. And Pastimes does the PAX staffing for all the Magic events there. So this all makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all adding up.
I think that's going to happen. I would love to be there.
Yeah,
like that would be sweet.
I'm sure someone from our site will be there, whether or not it's judging or covering the event or something.
Yeah. Super quick side note on the topic of judging. There is going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a couple weeks. The SCG Con Pittsburgh, which is mostly Magic the Gathering, but has a couple Lorcana events at it. I'm going to be there judging. I don't know if I'm going to be working the Lorcana event specifically or not, but I've put in a request, and we'll see. But it's definitely happening, and if anybody's there, come say hi.
Aw, I love that. Find Ben, take pictures, tag us,
there you go.
On the preliminary library. Yes, absolutely. That's super exciting, and I'm so happy for you, because I know that like all you've wanted to do is just like for judge for this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's awesome. And you have a sweet little shirt that you can wear if they don't give you
Yes. They have like a staff uniform so that everybody on staff, like you can find staff easily. But yeah, I would be wearing this underneath for sure.
Yeah, you can just like flash it real quick.
It's like, I'm on break.
Love that. I love that. I'm excited to see whatever these events mean. Like I said, I really hope that they hold one at Disney, because we already go a bunch, so it would be really nice to add that in on a trip, or just have an excuse to go down. So
yeah, wasn't there one fan tournament organizer that was like trying to make that happen?
There is, yep. So on the Disney Lorcana big Facebook page, I think it's just called Disney Lorcana fan group or something. If you look, there is a tournament that is in, I'm gonna say, like pre-production kind of being put together for next year. It would be a weekend. They haven't determined when. I believe it was like fall of next year. And it's going to be a giant Disney Lorcana tournament. And I think they were looking at hosting it in a convention center, which to me reads as either Coronado or Yacht and Beach. Those are kind of the biggest convention centers on property. Contemporary has like a small one, so I don't think it would be there. And also it's kind of expensive.
Yeah, I don't know why you pay for that.
I don't want to know what you would pay for that.
Yeah.
Coronado to me seems the most likely, and also like that's a really beautiful space.
Oh yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. I know that if it comes off, I will definitely be there, because I'll just go to Disney and then just add this on as like a little side trip.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Yep.
Just please give me 11 months notice so I can get my DVC in. Thank you.
Also, if you're looking for a tournament and you're local to Orlando, we recommend that you head over to our studio in Celebration, Florida. So it's a quick jaunt from Disney World property, and we are holding a casual tournament along with casual play on November 18th at 6 p.m. If you are competing in the tournament, we are saying that Rise of Floodborn will not be allowed just due to product availability. We don't want to have someone have a huge advantage over someone else. However, in casual play, it is more than welcome to be used. There will be prizes of Lorcana cards for the top 3 tournament winners. What's been explained to me is that we're basically breaking up a gift set. So the 3rd place winner would be taking the oversized cards. The 2nd place winner would be taking the normal size cards, and the 1st place winner will be winning 3 booster packs, which is not too bad.
Yeah.
Every person age 10 and above requires a ticket, and then there are 2 tickets that you can buy the tournament or the casual play. If you want to participate in both, then you can just buy the tournament ticket. There's a $2 difference between the 2, and basically it just helps us ensure snacks and drinks and stuff, because the ticket price does include 2 beverages and 2 snacks per person. Our studio is beautiful. It's huge. There will be lots of staff on help around taking video and picture and stuff, and it's going to be like a really fun event. We've done this before, but we didn't do a tournament, and we had a really great turnout. I think it was like 75 people, and we got really, really positive reviews. So we're excited to be doing this again in a tournament form as well. So, and that's our little address right there. So yeah, if you want to go, we have tickets. The link will be in the description. It's also on our Instagram bio. You can head to WDWNT Play. I'm sure they've got it listed there. You can email us. You can DM us. We will help you find tickets if you want to go.
And we've also got the short link up for if you go to WDWNT.link, LINK/Lorcana. And that'll send you right over.
There you go. Super easy. Okay. So Ben and I won't be at that event, although there'll be lots of other WNT staffers, and you can always say hi to us online. No biggie. But I will be coming in the week after Ben, if you want to talk about what will be happening Thanksgiving weekend at the site, because it has to do with our show and lots of Lorcana things.
So every year for the past, I can't count how many.
A lot.
Yeah. I think it is. I think it's over 10 at this point. It's been a lot. I've been around for a lot of these. The weekend after Thanksgiving, we do a marathon show for somewhere between 24 to 50, 60, 72 hours sometimes. Just streaming nonstop. We take shifts.
Overall tiredness.
It's not like one person stayed up for 72 hours straight. But I did do 50 one year. That was rough. I'm never doing that again. But anyway, where the whole point is that we're doing fundraising for Toys for Tots, which we've done a lot for that. This is where I would drop some numbers if I had numbers in front of me, but I don't. But we have raised an absurd amount of money for Toys for Tots, and I'm really happy that we get to be a part of this. The hope at this point is that we would be able to do an episode of the Luminary Library live during the marathon. If not, that's fine too. But I know that we are going to have some Lorcana content happening during that marathon. I think I've heard rumors that Tom's going to learn how to play on stream.
I want to. Well, I'll be there, so I'll probably be helping that. I'll just be screaming in the background.
I know for a fact that we're going to have folks playing on camera for at least a part of this.
Yeah.
That and the whole WDWNT Play crew doing we've always done board games and stuff as part of the show. So it's great that we've kind of got a solid umbrella to put that under now.
Yes.
So I'm very much looking forward to everything that comes out of that.
On top of that, we should have some Lorcana sleeves, and I believe some Lorcana Rise of Floodborn product that will be going up. We do an auction every year in addition to the stream, so you can always donate directly to the stream, and all that money goes to Toys for Tots. And then in addition, we hold an auction where, again, all of the money goes for Toys for Tots, but you get an item out of it. And so we're going to be throwing up some Lorcana stuff, including I just recently took a trip to Disneyland, and we got some Lorcana cards signed by the characters. So it's signed right on the card. We put a sleeve right over on top of it to protect the signature. We have videos of me getting signed by all of the characters. If you need
video proof
that I was there, we have video proof that this happened. But all of those will be going up for auction as well. So I believe we'll have some sleeves, maybe some cards, and then the signed cards. So we're really excited to donate these for a really good cause.
Yeah. I forgot about the signed cards. Like that's such a cool thing to have happen. I love that we got to put that up on the auction.
It was really fun, and all of the characters were super nice. And we'll be sharing the content that we did with that on the Instagram over the next few weeks. All of the characters were so nice. So if you are shy and don't really do character meetings, but you want your card signed, just go for it. Just make sure that you bring something to write with, because my rookie mistake was that the very first meeting we did, we thought for whatever reason that the characters had something. They don't. The character attendant was super nice and let us use their pen, and then we very quickly ran into a gift shop and bought a pen. Pens are not cheap in Disney World, by the way, because you have to basically buy the autograph book with it. So just go buy a Sharpie or a pen before you start your trip, and you'll be happier for it. Learn from my mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, before we wrap up, we did get some viewer questions, so thanks to those in WIGS Discord, which is our WDWNT specific Discord, and then also on the Instagram. So thank you guys for asking questions and tagging us. So Ben, what color combinations do you think will be improved in Rise of the Floodborn, and why?
Everything with Emerald, because Beast is insane. Right now, Emerald is kind of a redheaded stepchild, as I've seen it.
Yeah.
There are effectively no decks that are top of the meta that have Emerald in them.
Right.
I think that's going to be a big change between Beast being a beast and the entire discard sub theme. I think that Emerald's going to start seeing some play.
I see Amethyst Emerald specifically.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a really, really fun one. And we're not really using that color combination right now. So I could see that skyrocketing easily into top 5 meta.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it. Like I said, I've said this the whole time since that one came out. I really, truly do love Emerald. So I'm excited to see it kind of start to get a place where you can start to utilize it more.
Yeah. And I'm on Steel Emerald. I think it's going to happen. I think it's there. You discard your hand, you draw 7, I draw 12. I think it's gonna happen.
There you go. I think that's a sufficient answer. All right, next question. What is your favorite artwork so far from Rise of the Floodborn?
Well, I said it right up top. The Arthur art is so good.
Yeah.
Just the character design is really nice. And
the particles
mine.
in the background,
Yep.
It's so sparkly. It really does add a pop. They did a really nice job making that look like a missive almost on a 2D card, which is very difficult to do. As someone who is a professional artist, they took a lot of time and care with this art, and it really shows.
Yeah, I want to see the foil on this. I bet that's going to look real nice.
Ooh, I bet that'll be really pretty. I had to think about it for a second, but yeah, it's Cogsworth grandfather. Look at him.
It's good.
When the simple fact that you can think about, because this is Floodborn, right? So it's something kind of completely different, and think, how do I make a grandfather clock look like literally a grandfather clock? And they made it. His little arrow, they're not arrows, but whatever they're called, the things that tell time. Hands, that thing.
Yeah, but it's weird to call it hands because he's got other hands. I get it.
He's got other hands, yeah. But they literally are gray, and they almost have added these wrinkles, and you can see definition that he has a chin. And then the top of where his hair would be is graying, and then he's got
bushy
a little
eyebrows,
cane, and he leans over it. My gosh, this is absolutely genius storytelling, and I'm all here for it. I love it.
Yeah.
They did a really, really, really good job of just thinking outside of the box. And then the last question was, what's your favorite ink based solely on the characters in it, not statistics or effects? So literally just the character collection overall.
That's a really interesting question.
I think mine is amethyst.
I think
Because
mine
I
might be
really
emerald.
Okay. I love like the Elsa, the big Elsa art I think is really pretty. I
Yeah.
love the Elsa and the Anna. Um the Pascal. Like I think it's
The
just
Pascal is
Frozen,
very good.
maybe. Maybe it's just the Frozen characters because that's all I'm naming. Like Olaf is in there too, but all of them are so cute.
That's fair.
Yep.
But yeah, so Emerald's got Robin Hood. Like the entirety of Robin Hood is an Emerald. It's got Cusco. Like with no touchy. Like we put no touchy on a card. It's so good. Um, I I love it. Like if I had to pick just off of character alignment, I think that's where I'm at.
Okay. I see, and it's so funny because the
Oh, and
character
Steamboat
alignment for
Mickey.
me
I forgot. Steamboat Mickey is also
yeah.
in there as well. Like I know we've got Mickey everywhere else, but specifically Steamboat Mickey.
To me, it's Steamboat Mickey because it is like classic Mickey, right?
Yeah.
It's funny because for me, the characters in Emerald don't necessarily matter so much, but I love the abilities in Emerald. Cusco being the one aside because I absolutely adore Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
But as far as like the properties that are in it, I'm not necessarily like that big of a fan of. I'm not like really an Alice person. There's a lot of Alice in Emerald.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. We did it. We made
did.
it through chapter 2 cards, discussion, competitive events. We made it through everything. So now we have to wrap up the show how we always do by picking a favorite card. And Ben, you know what this is? This is the last time we're going to be picking a card from potentially set
You're
one.
right. Oh my gosh.
So I hope that you picked a good one because I'm sure next month you're probably going to be picking a set 2 card. So this is going to be an impactful one. Do you want to go first or shall I? Or...
Yeah, I'll go. So okay. This is my pick here is the Rapunzel Gifted with Healing because I have started playing this in decks competitively, and just every time that this card comes out, it's just an absolute blowout for my opponent. Like I am undoing an attack that I just made or fixing back some trade I just made, drawing 3 whole cards off of this. Like it's just backbreaking. Like art's good as well. Effects absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. That's my current MVP card.
This is the card that I'm chasing. It's the only one that I don't have in all of the first set, and right now it's going for $50 on TCG Player, and I can't justify the cost, especially with like holidays coming up and set 2 coming up. But maybe we'll see it drop eventually, and I'll be able to get my hands on one because I don't see myself buying much Chapter 1 product. Obviously, I want it to get into the hands of other people.
Yeah.
And I have 3 boxes at this point, so I don't want to invest anymore in that. But I want that card, man.
I mean, the reprints will do nothing but help bring the price down. Like, I can't see it going up. So.
Yeah. I think, definitely. We're probably at like the mid-range right now. Hopefully it drops a little bit more, and then I'll consider buying just one single so I have it, because I need to complete that collection.
How about you? What's your pick?
Mulan. Yeah, I picked Mulan Imperial Soldier. So she's 5 cost Ruby, 4/5. Her ability is the reason that I picked this. So during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, your other characters get +1 lore pips this turn. So here's what's interesting. At least in the meta by my house, not a lot of people have been playing this card. And
I haven't seen it.
I haven't really noticed it. And one day I was just going through cards when I was tweaking my deck, and I read it because I was like, what does this one do? And I realized how good it was, and I put it in my deck, and this character does so much work because every other one of your characters is getting +1. So if you find a way to heal Mulan, she's probably staying around for 2 or 3 challenges. And I mean, you're questing potentially, like, if you have 3 other characters on the board and you're not using them to challenge, you're getting 3 additional lore that turn. Like, this character is actually really, really good, and I think she deserves more use And I just think people maybe have been skipping out on her, so I wanted to bring some attention to her. I like it a lot.
That's a really good point, because it also makes your opponent's next turn a little awkward as well, because they have to think about, do I actually want to quest with this 1/1? Like, if you've got that and you get to not just, like, normally, like, I've seen a lot of people aggressively questing with their cheap, low power, low toughness characters, just out of, like, well, at least my opponent has to spend one of their cards and some tempo to deal with it. You're not losing any tempo with this. Like, I'll challenge you, get rid of that, and the rest of my team gets better for me having done it.
Yeah, and in the context that I'm playing this, so I was playing it in an Amber Ruby deck, so I was playing the Moana. So the combo, obviously, is to get, banish with this one, and then play Moana Sushi Quest, and then this ready, so that you're not losing, like, they're not, able to attack into you. And then you just quest with your other princesses. It's really gross.
Oh my gosh.
It was a rush deck. I was having a lot of fun with it. When the combo goes off, man, it's pretty sick.
That's
and
terrific.
It's really fun. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that this card deserves a little bit more love, and I want to bring, like I said, bring some attention to it. So
yeah, for
that's
sure.
my pick. I think we reached the end of the show. Thank you so much for sticking around. Obviously, if you have any comments, hit us up in the DMs, hit us up in a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that stuff. It really truly does help. If you like all of the WWNT play content that we've been been playing board games, we've been doing unboxings of Lorcana cards. Like, let us know what else you want to see more of. That way we can help kind of tweak what we've been doing. And then next month the show will be live, so we'll be putting all of that out. Yeah, hopefully, and hopefully not at like 2 a.m. We don't want the 2 a.m. slot. We want people to be awake to watch.
Yeah, but no one wants the 2 a.m. slot, and we can talk for hours about this, like we just did.
This is true. Yeah, this is true. But a show post kind of will be going out like the week before, which gives everyone a time slot, so all of our viewers will be able to know where and when they can catch us.
For sure.
Yeah, Ben, do you have anything?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. Hope to run into folks at SCG Con in a couple weeks. Definitely don't be afraid to come say hi if you see me, folks.
Thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the next episode.
Yep. Bye.